Welcome back, folks, to WWE Network and Chill. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, where right here on the show I break down all the original content that I watch on the WWE Network. For the next couple of episodes, we're talking about Legends House, the first and only season, unfortunately, until they come out with Season 2, and it's been 2 years, so I don't think they will at this point. I heard they had some budget issues or something, but still a very good show. Today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 5, Express Yourselves. So we find out at the start of the episode that Tony draws when he's angry. He's a great drawer. He's a great artist. We find that out throughout this episode. This episode is all about their drawing ability. And I'm not talking about ability in terms of drawing crowds, but rather legit drawing. And I know we're talking about wrestling here, but we're talking about legit drawing and their artist skills and stuff like that. We also find out early on that Mean Gene trains with Tony in the morning. He is not in the best of shape, not as bad of a shape as Howard Finkel is in, but we find out that he trains in the morning with Tony, which is great. Tony thanks Piper at the start of the show. He thanks Roddy Piper for the talk the night before when Tony was really angry at Hacksaw, that he wasn't really acting as himself in Las Vegas when Piper talked to him at the end of the last episode. So Tony thanked him for that, hugged him, and he appreciated it a lot, and Piper said he appreciated that too. He goes out shopping with Hillbilly Jim for Southern food. They're the only ones that eat the food. They don't like the chitlins. No one likes the chitlins. They are the only ones that eats it. They are the only ones that eat it, Hillbilly Jim and Tony. And they get sausage, I believe is what it was, if Tony's telling the truth here. They pick up some sausage, and Hillbilly Jim tells Jimmy Hart that the sausage is bull penis. So Jimmy Hart, being the loudmouth that he is, goes to every other legend in the house and tells them that they're eating bull penis for dinner. No one wants any of it. It stinks. Howard Finkel, I think it was Mean Gene actually, he took the chitlins or whatever the hell it was, and he threw it right in the grass, and Tony's like, where'd it go? And Mean Gene's like, oh, I think someone ate it. And he's like, someone must have eaten. And he's like, it wasn't me. I think it was Howard, which was pretty funny. But yeah, no one wants to eat that. They just, it's so gross. I mean, you would think that they would want to try it, but then you see a shot of Tony picking out the pig poop from the chitlins, which is just fucking gross. And then Jimmy Hart asks a very valid question and saying, what if you miss any? And Tony said, I won't miss any. I've been doing this for years. I don't know if I trust Tony, but it is what it is. So I guess the food stinks at the whole house. And Piper, they just make steak instead. And Piper says, Tony gets the idea that we want to eat pig food in Boldick, or pig foot, in Boldick. I'm not that hungry, which was pretty funny. So, like I said, we find out that it's actually sausage, and Tony says, a bowl would make any man jealous. And he's trying to put the thought in our heads, and he's trying to make sense of this, okay? And he says, if they're eating bull penis, okay, it's not going to be the size of a sausage. It's going to be the size of your fucking arm. We're talking about bull here. We're talking about, like that kind of shit. You know what I'm talking about? Not a sausage-esque penis. That makes no sense. So Tony tries to talk some sense into the viewers and the legends and stuff like that. So anyway, but you go from that into water aerobics. Ashley shows up in a bikini outside, which is a pretty cool sight, I will admit. The legends do water aerobics. Mean Gene liked it, but they don't really like the instructor, who's a bit of a hard ass. Pat Patterson talks back to her, which is actually pretty funny. They're kind of back and forth. They're bickering back and forth. It's pretty comical. And this instructor's like their age. She's like an elderly woman too, so it's not like it's some younger woman that they're not listening to. It's one of their peers, and she's kind of a hard ass. And Jimmy Hart, of course, did not get his hair wet at all. That perfect dude that he's got going on does not go into the water at all, doesn't get it wet, which was pretty funny. So Jimmy Hart and Hillbilly Jim work on music together, and Jimmy Hart's saying, they're the best of friends, we're really making, we're working well together, we're finding some common ground. And then while he's saying that, you see clips of Jimmy Hart and Hillbilly Jim working on the music, and Jimmy Hart's getting on Hillbilly's nerves, which you really have to know that Jimmy Hart, you have to know that he's just that fucking annoying to get on Hillbilly's nerves. Because if you get on Hillbilly's nerves, then you know you're doing something wrong. Because Hillbilly Jim is the most positive and likable guy in this entire show. So you know you got to be annoying. You have to be annoying to piss off Hillbilly Jim, which is pretty funny. So then we find out from Ashley that the Legends have to do an art show, that they got to sell 8 paintings. And there's gonna be 12 paintings in total at this art show. 8 of them are of the Legends themselves. The paintings that we already see of the Legends at the start of the show that are all around the house. The other 4 they have to create themselves. They have to work together. Tony walks out from the get-go, says, fuck all y'all. I'm not gonna get involved in this bickering, this tension, any of this crap. I'm going to go do my own thing. He comes up with ideas of what to paint. So he helps out Howard Finkel, and I think Mean Gene too. He offers his expertise once everyone's not trying to jump right down his throat. Jimmy Hart. But the Legends, some of them do finger painting. They do handprints with their signatures on it, with the logo in the middle. So they come up with a couple cool ideas. Nothing astronomically amazing, but stuff that will sell to, the common person that knows about wrestling, that wants to get a valuable item, which is pretty cool. Pat Patterson paints a pretty good bird. Tony Drain, he paints a clown, a sad clown, which is kind of creepy, but he paints a clown. Pat Patterson didn't think Mean Gene contributed at all, gives him a hard time for it, but they're good friends, so he kind of just takes it on the chin. Hellbilly's pretty proud of the art. He thinks that everyone did a really good job. Then they go to the art show, which is at some side street, so no one really knows where it is. No one shows up at first. There's food there. They got, drinks and stuff, but no one shows up. Jimmy Hart, being the great promoter that he is, he goes out, gimmick robe, the jacket, the fucking... the microphone and all that other kind of stuff. The megaphone, his signature megaphone. He goes out into the crowd at some other art show down the street and promotes their art show. And a lot of people show up. They get a pretty decent crowd. They sell a lot of stuff. It goes really well. It's a silent auction. They sell out the paintings. And it goes pretty well. So a pretty happy ending to a very good day at Legends House. So that is Season 1, Episode 5 of WWE Legends House, right here on WWE Network and Chill. Of course, the next episode covering Season 1, Episode 6, LAARPing, LARPing. But it's spelled AA with two A's, like AARP. You get it? Haha, whatever. The next episode, we'll be covering that. It's a pretty funny episode, so check back on the next episode of WWE Network and Chill for that. In the meantime, in the between time, folks, as always, if you want to catch me on the social media links, you can in the description box below. On Twitter at WrestleRant, on Facebook at Graham GSM Matthews, at Facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews, and also right here on YouTube by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. So until next time, guys, I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Continue to WWE Network and Chill, and I'll catch you fine folks down the road.